What's happening, beautiful people? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your maths coach, and today we are going to be looking at expanding brackets. We are going to start off with expanding single brackets, and then we are going to move on to expanding double brackets and even triple brackets. So let's start off with a nice and easy example here. So we've got 5 bracket 2x plus 3. So everything that's inside this bracket, we are going to multiply with the 5 outside. Now you may have different methods for doing this. I will show you the method I think is simple and easy for students to use. All right. And what I simply do is take the 5 and I multiply it with the first term inside the bracket. Having done that, then I go and multiply with the second term inside the bracket. So what is 5 times 2x? 5 times 2x is 10x. Next, 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, and it's a plus here and a plus here, so it's a plus 15. And that is this bracket expanded. Now going on to the next question here, we've got an x outside. Again, I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I've done with the first one. So it'll be x times by 3, which is 3x, and then x times by minus 2y. Now we have 2 different term values here. So what do we get for this? We are going to get a minus first of all because of the minus sign here, okay? And we're going to get minus 2xy. Very, very simple, very straightforward. Use those arrows to help you if you need to. Okay, now on to our next example. The bracket is much larger this time. There are more terms and also there are some powers that you have to deal with. So let's begin this one. Again, 4x times by 3x. 4x times by 3x, so 4 times by the 3 gives us 12. X times x gives us x squared. Moving on to the next one, so 4x times by minus 2x squared. First of all, write down the sign. You got a positive multiplying with a negative. That gives us a negative value overall. So 4 times by 2 is 8, and then x times by x squared, x cubed. After that one, we go on to 4x times by 5x cubed. So the sign will be a positive. 4 times by 5 equals 20. X times by x to the power of 3. There's a 1 here. So 1 plus 3. So therefore 4. If you're wondering how I'm getting the values for the powers, please refer to the video that I've done on simplifying and also the video on indices. Why don't you pause the video here and have a go at these ones for yourself and then press play again and then look at the answer that I do. Okay, brilliant. So let's look at the first one here. We've got 2 brackets that we need to expand separately. Now, this is not a quadratic. Just because it's got 2 brackets doesn't make it a quadratic. We'll look at the quadratic in a little while. So 2x times by 5x gives us 10x squared. 2x times by 3 gives us plus 6x. And then we continue with this one. So minus 5 times by 2x. That gives us minus 10x. And then minus 5 times by 3. Minus 5 times by 3. Negative and a positive. The negative is dominant. So 5 times 3, 15. Is that our final answer? No, it's not, because we have to simplify. This is a classic case of expanding and simplifying. Often students may leave their answers like this and they don't get the last mark, which is to simplify, to collect the like terms. What are the like terms? So 10x squared, it has nothing similar to it, so we leave that as 10x squared. 6x here, that has minus 10x. So they are similar. So 6 minus 10. That's all we need to do. So 6 minus 10 is minus 4. And it's part of the x family. So it's minus 4x. And then minus 15 has no other number. So therefore we just write it as minus 15. And 10x squared minus 4x minus 15 is the answer to that. Sorry, it's a bit squashed up here. I will rub this off. Okay, so I've rubbed off this previous answer to give you some space and your mind to just focus on this next one. So minus 2x times by 5x. So minus 2x times by 5 is minus 10x squared. We have the 2 x's with the powers, remember, 1 and 1 here. So we add the index numbers together. And then minus 2 times by minus 4. Now, two minuses, when they multiply, it produces a positive. So therefore, we will do 2 times 4, which is 8, and there's only one x here, so it's plus 8x. All right, so now we move on to expanding quadratic brackets or double brackets. Now you'll notice, unlike the previous example, there is no plus or a negative sign in between the two brackets. The brackets are multiplying with each other. So the technique that we will use here is we'll take the first bracket and the terms inside the first bracket, and we'll multiply one by one the terms inside the other bracket. There are different ways of doing this. I'm going to employ the quickest and easiest method that I feel that my students understand really easily. Okay, and what is that? So I take the first term inside the first bracket and I systematically expand it with the terms in the other bracket. So I've got x times by x, which gives me x squared. Then I take that term again and I multiply it with the second term, the 3. So x times by 3. The sign will be a positive, so it's plus, and then 3x, because x times by 3 is 3x. Having done that, I take the second term in the first bracket and I multiply it with this. So 8 times by x, that gives us plus 8x. Again, the sign will be positive and positive here, so therefore positive sign. So that's 8x, and then 8 times by the 3, that gives me plus 24. All I need to do now is to collect the like terms together. Okay, so I've got x squared here, there's nothing alike, so therefore x squared plus 3x and plus 8x, they are like terms, part of the x family here, and that gives us a total of 11x, and we just add plus 24, and that is this expanded. Let's have a look at this next example here. So we've got 2x plus 3 in one bracket and x minus 1 in the other bracket. We'll do exactly the same thing as before. So 2x times by x, that gives us 2x squared, and then 2x times by minus 1, which is minus 2x. 3 times by x, that gives us plus 3x, and then 3 times by minus 1, which is minus 3. All that is required now is to collect the terms. So 2x squared doesn't have anything similar to this, so that we'll write this along. And then minus 2x plus 3x is 1x, so we'll just write an x here, and then minus 3 has nothing similar to it, we'll just write that along. Have a go at this next example for yourself, pause the video and come back to it. So 3x times by x, that gives us 3x squared, so 3x squared. 3x times by minus 4 gives us minus 12x, and then we've got minus 2 times by x here, which gives us minus 2x, and finally we've got minus 2 times by minus 4. Now minus 2 times by minus 4 is plus 8. So this now we just need to collect the like terms. So 3x squared doesn't have anything similar to it, so we can just write down 3x squared minus 12x minus 2x gives us minus 14x, they are the same, and plus 8. And that is expansion and simplified. Now this next segment is expanding triple brackets. This is becoming ever increasingly popular in the new curriculum. Not only in GCSE, it's always been there in the A-level mathematics, okay? So let's have a look at our problem here. We've got x minus 5, x minus 1, and x minus 3 brackets. The best way to do these questions is to treat it exactly like you did in quadratic. But that means you have to ignore one of the brackets at the start. I like to ignore the last bracket. You could, if you wanted to, ignore the first one. But I ignore the last bracket, so I will pretend the last bracket is not there, and I will expand this one just as I expanded the quadratic, okay? So ignore the last bracket and just focus on the first two here. So x times by x gives us x squared. X times by minus 1 is minus x. Minus 5 times by x is minus 5x. And minus 5 times by minus 1, it's a plus 5. Now, I did say to ignore that, but we will continue writing it along. Okay, we'll continue writing this one along. Now, what you'll notice here is this has been expanded. Students making a mistake at this stage is too much. Okay, what do I mean? Put this in a bracket. Make sure that the expansion of the first two brackets is put into a single bracket, because you are going to be multiplying everything inside that bracket after you've done the next step, which is to collect the like terms with the last and final bracket. Okay, so collect the like terms here inside this bracket. It's going to get smaller because we're going to collect the like terms. So what is that going to give us? That's going to be x squared. There is nothing else, x squared family. And we've got minus x and minus 5x. That gives us minus 6x and plus 5. And the final bracket that we have, and we'll just write it along here. That just leaves us with two brackets. Okay, so we are going to take everything inside this bracket and expand it with both of these terms. Then we move along to the next one, multiply it with these two values, move on to the next one, multiply it with these two values. So let's do this. Let me see if I can find another color here. Okay, so x squared times by x. That's x cubed. 2 and a 1 as the power here. So therefore you add them, the powers, so x cubed. Then x squared times by minus 3. Minus 3x squared. That done now. We move on to minus 6x. So minus 6x times by x is minus 6x squared. Again, minus 6x times by minus 3. The sign is going to be positive. Remember, two negatives when they multiply, positive. So plus, and 6 times 3 is 18. And then x is on one of those, so therefore x. Now, it's getting very, very messy here. And I'm going to use this final one to do in black. So 5 times x here is plus 5x, and then 5 times minus 3 gives us minus 15. I hope you can catch the end of that board over here. Okay, so quite a long process, but very, very systematic. And if you follow the guidelines that I'm setting for you, you will have no problems, absolutely. Okay, right, now let's collect the like terms. Okay, so you got x cubed here. Scan through, see if there's any more x cubed. There isn't, so you can just write down x cubed on its own. Continue, you got minus 3x squared, and straight away next to that is the same term, the same family of the terms. Okay, so minus 3x squared and minus 6x squared, they can be collected together. Minus 3 minus 6 is equal to minus 9. Since they're the x squared, we'll add the x squared along. Okay, plus 18x and plus 5x. Collect them together, you get 18 plus 5, which is 23. So 23x. Minus 15, part of the number family, has nothing in common. So minus 15 just gets added to this. Now, if you have a look at this to know that you've done this correctly, one of the things that you can do is to check that there are no like terms. So x cubed minus 9x squared plus 23x minus 15. Each term is different. And that is your answer, the expansion of that. Okay, let's have a look at this next question. We have x minus 5 in one bracket, and then we appear to have a second bracket, but it's actually more than that, because this square here means that the bracket here is repeated and multiplying itself. Okay, so the first thing you want to actually do is expand this bracket out. So that's writing this again. Okay, so a question may be given to you like this in an exam, and you have to know to do this. You might want to pause this here and do the question yourself and then come back to it. Right, so let's see what we have. We are going to expand x with this x, so we get x squared, x with a plus 3 giving us plus 3x, minus 5 times by the x gives us minus 5x, and then minus 5 times by 3 gives us minus 15. Again, what you've just done, make sure you put it into a big bracket. okay, because you will need to multiply it with this bracket which you ignored, and you're going to write this down now. Okay, now we're going to collect the like terms in this bracket. We're going to simplify what we have here. So the simplifying of that is to collect these two terms. So we get x squared, and then we're going to add these together. So 3 minus 5x. So 3x minus 5x is minus 2x. And then the minus 15 follows that. And we just copy that bracket down. Now we are going to expand everything inside this bracket with those in the second bracket. So x squared times by x. X squared times by x is x cubed. X squared times by 3 is plus 3x squared. So we've done the first term multiplied with both of those. Now we'll move on to the second term in here. So minus 2x, and we'll multiply with the x and the 3 as well. So minus 2x times by x gives us minus 2x squared. Minus 2x times by 3 gives us, sign will be negative because minus and a plus, the negative is dominant. So minus 6x. Finally, we are just left with the minus 15 here to multiply with those two. And I'll do that with another color because it's getting quite messy in here. So minus 15 times by x is minus 15x. And then minus 15 times by 3 is minus 45. Right, so there we have it. We have expanded the terms inside the bracket. All that is required now is to collect them together. So x cubed, there's nothing similar to that. So it's just x cubed. Plus 3x squared, if we scan along, right next to that is a similar term. So just identify it like that. So 3x squared minus 2x squared is 1x squared. So that is going to be plus x squared. Minus 6x here and minus 15x. So minus 6 minus 15 is minus 21. So minus 21x. And minus 45 has nothing. So it's just going to be written like that. We have expanded the brackets. We have collected all the like terms. Why don't you have a go at this next one here? I've made it interesting for you because not only do you have 3 brackets, but you also have a number outside. Okay, I want to see how you are going to deal with that one. All right, welcome back. Let's do this now. Now, the best way to deal with this one, I think, is to actually ignore these 2 brackets for now and just deal with this. All right, now if you refer to the beginning of this lesson, this is just like, so ignore this, this is just like expanding a single bracket. Deal with that 3 straight away. Get rid of that 3 there and have a single bracket here. Okay, so that's going to be 3 times 3, which is 9, and then 3 times minus 2q, which gives us minus 6q. And there you have the first bracket, which has been expanded with the term, the 3 that was outside, and you have your regular 3 brackets that we have been doing in the previous examples. Okay, so let's do this. 9 times by 3q. Remember, we're ignoring this, so we can just write it now to show that we're ignoring it, and everything that we expand now is going to go inside this big bracket which I've opened up. Okay, so 9 times 3q. That 9 times 3 is 27, so it's 27q. 9 times 3, which is again 27, so it's plus 27. Then we've got 6q minus 6q times by 3q. 6 times by 3 is 18, so it's minus 18q squared because we've got 2 q's here. And then minus 6q times by 3, again negative, so minus 18q. Collect the like terms again. So there we have it. So we're going to collect all the like terms. So are there any terms which are similar? Yes, there are. We've got the 27q here, and we've got the minus 18q. So 27 minus 18 is 9q. 9q can be written here. There's nothing else that's similar, so we just write these values down. So plus 27, we had nothing to collect it with, and minus 18q. So we have a simplified bracket here, ready to expand with that last bracket there. Okay, so let's do this. So 9q times by q. Okay, 9q times by q, that gives us 9q. Oops, sorry about that, made it look like a q there. So 9q squared. It's getting very untidy. I'm going to stop writing these arrows down. So 9q times by minus 2, that gives us minus 18q. Then 27 times by q, and then we're going to do 27 times by minus 2. 27 times by q is plus 27q, and then 27 times by minus 2 gives us 54. So it's going to be minus 54, and then we have minus 18q times by q. So that's going to give us minus 18 cubed. That's minus 18q cubed. Bit of a mouthful there. Then we've got minus 18q left to multiply with the minus 2. So that gives us, so we've got two negative signs, so making you have a positive value there. So 18 times by 2, that's 36. So you get 36q squared. Okay, hopefully you can see that value there. All that's required now is to collect the like terms together. All right, so what are the like terms? If we scan here, so we've got 9q squared, and if you go all the way to the end, you've got another q squared. So 9 plus 36 is 45q squared. And moving along, we've got the minus 18q here, and we've got plus 27q here. So minus 18q plus 27q is plus 9q. And then we've got minus 54 and minus 18q cubed, which have no terms which are similar to them. So they'll just be written down as normal. And that is your answer. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you learned how to expand quadratics, how to expand triple brackets. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share with your friends and your family. Your encouragement, your support really helps encourage me to make these videos for you, knowing that there are people out there who are going to benefit from all this. Thank you very much, guys.